I think that finding the humor in a situation is a peak performance skill. Both finding the humor and grieving are incredibly essential to your mental rehabilitation from your injury. When you feel like you can't take a day off of practicing, that is the first sign that you are micromanaging your practicing. But I feel like when anxiety is part of that decision to either go practice, do your recovery, whatever, that is a sign of micromanaging. He talks about something called harmonious passion. Harmonious passion is taking joy in a process rather than feeling pressure to achieve an outcome. We can find joy in the process of coming back to our instrument, in the small moments and learning to be present with ourselves and with others, but focusing only on the day that we will finally have this stupid injury behind us leaves us in what my coach Steve calls living in effect. This is where you can find ways to make your recovery a game. How can you add variety to your recovery routines? How can you make it fun or even goofy? Think about it. How much easier to stomach would your recovery be if you found the humor in the situation? Or had some jokes to crack about it on hand when people ask you? Play is not a frivolous activity. It's a source of joy and path to mastery. We will be able to overcome limitations in a healthier way. It allows us to separate ourselves from over-practicing or getting too bogged down in our recovery routines. These principles are just essential to normal, everyday well-being. Guys, I've said it a million times, we can't put deadlines on our recovery journeys. So we might as well learn how to enjoy the process, not just trust it. I believe it'll increase our longevity and boost our resilience. We will not only be able to move past our injury or other obstacles in our playing, but we will be able to enjoy the process while doing it. Ever think that was possible? Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. Today I wanted to share an excerpt from one of my all-time favorite books, Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. I think I've mentioned it a few times on the show. If you haven't read it yet, I think it is a must-read for every musician on the planet. In it, he talks a lot about how talent doesn't really get us as far as we sometimes think, or get other people as far as that we think. Instead, he encourages all of us to explore our interests to the fullest extent, no matter our level of original innate talent in that subject. In the book, he actually gives an example of Evelyn Glennie, who is a Scottish percussionist who was not initially accepted into the Royal Academy of Music because she was deaf. Imagine that, a deaf percussionist. Yet now she is one of the highest esteemed percussionists in the world. In one part of the book, Grant shares a concept with us that I believe has a ton of helpful implications for injury prevention in musicians. He talks about something called harmonious passion. And check out the definition he gives for this concept. Quote, harmonious passion is taking joy in a process rather than feeling pressure to achieve an outcome. You're no longer practicing under the specter of should. I should be studying. I'm supposed to practice. Instead, you're drawn into a web of want. I feel like studying. I'm excited to practice. Instead of controlling your life, practicing enriches your life. Isn't that great? Hey guys, I just want to interrupt the show real quick and just tell you about something I've been working on for a long time that I'm so excited to share with you. Like I've said in the past, you have the potential to make your injury become a benefit to you, an asset to you. But at the same time, I know the feeling of being lost, not knowing who to turn to, where to go, what resources to use, all sorts of things. And also how to reframe the situation, the mental skills that's needed to be able to do that. And so if you are one of those people looking for that resource, that help, that coaching, I want to tell you about something I've been working on, and that is Musician Unchained. Musician Unchained is now the newest coaching platform for musicians going through injury. It is intended to help you view your situation in a way that benefits you and make the changes in your life that you need to become the best version of yourself because of your injury. Your injury being the impetus for that change. I would love to be able to help you in any way that I can, even if that means sending you somewhere else to someone who can better help you. And so if you are interested in working together one-on-one, visit our website, musicianunchained.com/let's hang for more details. All right, let's get back to the show. It reminds me of a quote from trumpet professor Dr. Scott Belk in Cincinnati that I've shared many times before, that, quote, when you feel like you can't take a day off of practicing, that is the first sign that you are micromanaging your practicing. Now, there are some caveats to this, in my opinion, that I need to address. First of all, I think there is a fine line between only practicing when you feel like it and taking breaks when you need to. And that is why it's so hard for type A people like this guy to take breaks. So here's my 2 cents. And you may disagree with me, but I feel like when anxiety is part of that decision to either go practice, do your recovery, whatever, that is a sign of micromanaging. When you are feeling lazy or apathetic and just not feeling like it, and that is why you aren't practicing, that is when I feel like you most need to go into the practice room. But how does this apply to injured musicians, you may ask? So let's go back to his definition of harmonious passion. Quote, "It is taking joy in the process rather than feeling pressured to achieve an outcome." It doesn't take a genius to understand why I love that quote. We can find joy in the process of coming back to our instrument, in the small moments, in learning to be present with ourselves and with others, but focusing only on the day that we will finally have this stupid injury behind us leaves us in what my coach Steve calls living in effect. But how the heck are we supposed to do this? I'm not going to talk about being present here and how to do that. Instead, Adam Grant talks about a concept in the book called deliberate play, which he describes as combining deliberate practice, which I hope all of you musicians know what that is, and free play. Quote, "It involves introducing novelty and variety into practice. Play is not a frivolous activity. It's a source of joy and path to mastery." So what could this look like for an injured musician? Now, I think this is best worked out with your support team, especially your medical and pedagogical support systems. But this is where you can find ways to make your recovery a game. How can you add variety to your recovery routines? How can you make it fun or even goofy? Maybe do your recovery routines in interesting places. I mean, I remember doing some of my PT exercises and think PT for a trumpet player with a busted lip. Use your imagination. But I was doing it while working a front desk job. And those who knew me knew that type of goofiness is strange, yes, but for me, it's completely on brand. Also, a huge way to incorporate deliberate play and harmonious passion is finding the humor in the situation. When you make a mistake, what would it take within you personally to find humor in that mistake? If you were to look at a clown perform or the Three Stooges, they make mistakes all the time, but they do it in a humorous light. Nothing is taken seriously with those guys. I mean, don't they know that we're supposed to be living seriously? Now, given, I am not trying to say that you should never give yourself space to feel the gravity and the severity of your injury and the implications that it has for your career. I've talked enough about those other things. I want to focus on this right now. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. I just wanted to jump in here real quick and tell you about something that I'm really, really excited about. For a while now, I've wanted to create an even more effective resource than just the podcast that injured musicians can go to receive the support that they need. And recently I did just that. So write this down. Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. I know it's a long title. We're still working on that part. But this is a place where people can go now, injured musicians and even musicians who have gone through injury in the past, and people that help musicians go through injury, where they can go to receive the support that they need, whether that be ask questions, share their victories, share their frustrations, and overall just receive the community and the support that they need in a very proactive, intentional way. And so I just ask that you guys support these injured musicians by sharing this group with them, that they can receive the support that they need. Okay, enjoy the rest of the show. But just as Dr. John Skidmore said last season, in that quote, grieving is a peak performance skill, if you remember that, I think that finding the humor in a situation is a peak performance skill. Both finding the humor and grieving are incredibly essential to your mental rehabilitation from your injury. Think about it. How much easier to stomach would your recovery be if you found the humor in the situation? Or had some jokes to crack about it on hand when people ask you? I'm not saying those are shields or defense mechanisms, but what would change if you use those once or twice? Okay, so why are these two principles, harmonious passion and deliberate play, so important? I believe it'll increase our longevity and boost our resilience. We will not only be able to move past our injury or other obstacles in our playing, but we will be able to enjoy the process while doing it. Ever think that was possible? We will be able to overcome limitations in a healthier way. It allows us to separate ourselves from over-practicing or getting too bogged down in our recovery routines. Guys, I've said it a million times, we can't put deadlines on our recovery journeys. So we might as well learn how to enjoy the process, not just trust it. So I hope this has been helpful to you. These skills are essential to full recovery, mental and physical. These principles are just essential to normal, everyday well-being. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope that you got something from this. I hope you're getting things from every episode of this show. That's why I work so hard on it. If you have any questions or want to reach out, shoot me an email, send me a text. Those links are down in the show notes. And if you want to explore a coaching relationship between us, head over to musicianunchained.com and book a discovery call. We'll talk. Join our newsletter. That's available to you. I'd hate for you to miss the sneak peeks and the memes and everything that I got coming your way through the newsletters and the research studies. It's an incredibly valuable resource, in my opinion. And I'll even send you a free gift that I prepared for you as a thank you for joining the newsletter community. We also have that injured musician support group that's available to you. My everyday is just creating as many helpful resources for those of you going through an injury. And those of you who haven't, prevention resources. That's why I do it. So, as I always say, keep on keeping on, guys. You're doing great. You're doing better than you think you are. And keep trusting the process. Until next time. Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of Trust the Process, the official podcast of Musician Unchained, the newest coaching program dedicated to helping musicians navigate and overcome injury. But before you go, I have a few quick ways you can stay connected and support our growing community. First of all, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a text with the link below and share your thoughts, questions, or just say hi. You can also check the show out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also would love to see you in our Facebook support group, Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. If you found value in today's episode, consider making a donation to support our mission of empowering musicians worldwide. Every contribution helps us create more content and resources for you. So visit link number 2 below to support the mission. If you decide to donate, I'll send you my newest resource, the Injured Musician Toolkit, which is an ebook designed to give you tools to help you get through your injury. Subscribe to our newsletter to get exclusive insights, tips, sneak previews of episodes, and announcements straight to your inbox. Act now and I will send you a free gift. So sign up at www.musicianunchained.com/newsletter. And if you or someone you know would like to go deeper with me in the topics of injury and mindset, head over back to musicianunchained.com and check out the Let's Hang tab. As always, I want to thank Daniel Baldwin, my audio engineer, and my sister Dana Lovell for her help with the promotional materials. There is no podcast without them. But before I go, I want to tell you how much I deeply appreciate your time and support. You are not alone on this journey. There are musicians and educators out there who need this resource, and we need to get it to them. Together, we are breaking the chain of old habits and thought patterns that don't serve us anymore, and unchaining the potential within ourselves to face each challenge with strength and resilience. So, as I always say, keep on keeping on, and keep trusting the process. Until next time.